My name is Melody Tebow. Obviously, I am a veteran, and I will be your MC for today. I would like to start off our program today with a national anthem, which will be sung by 8 VFA members of the chorus. Call your units to attention, please.
Oops, sorry.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you guys, very nice, a great rendition. Give him a hand, everybody. Next on the agenda, we're going to have a group of students from the city school who will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance. That was a great job. You guys, I know, had a hard time getting up in front of people. Now, if I could have Alan Brown step forward from the VFW to give the invocation.
Dear Lord, today we honor our veterans, worthy men and women who gave their best when they were called upon to serve and protect their country. We pray that you will bless them for their unselfish service and the continual struggle to preserve our freedoms, our safety, and our country's heritage for all of us. Bless them abundantly for the hardships they faced, for the sacrifices they made, for their many different contributions to America's victories over tyrants, tyranny, and oppression. We respect them, we thank them, we honor them, we are proud of them. We pray that you will watch over these special people and bless them with peace and happiness. Amen.
Again, good morning and welcome all for attending today's celebration to help us honor our vets from every branch of the service. It's a special day to give thanks to all veterans everywhere for their service to help keep our lands free. This is a moment in time when people come together to show appreciation for veterans' service. I would like to start off introducing our guests up here with me today. First, I'd like to introduce our Parade Grand Marshal, Robert Kuhn. Robert is a World War II veteran and served during the D-Day invasion in the 104th 1st Airborne Division. If any of you have a few moments after the ceremony, he is a very interesting person with a wonderful military career that he could share with you and would love to do so. Next is Senator Bernie Sanders, who has taken time out of his busy agenda to help us for the second year in a row to celebrate our Veterans Day service. Senator Sanders, would you like to say a few words?
Well, let me thank the VFW 758 and the other service organizations, the city, the town, and everybody who makes this event possible. What I like so much about what we're doing here in St. Albans is that you involve the entire community, especially the children. And if there's anything that it is important is that children understand the history of our country and the sacrifice that so many men and women made to defend American freedom. I especially want to thank all of the veterans who are here today. I want to thank the members of the Vermont National Guard who were recently deployed to Europe and came home. And as the former chairman and longtime member of the U.S. Senate Veterans Committee, I'm happy to tell you that we have made some real progress in the last year in terms of improving benefits for veterans. As a result of a piece of legislation called the PACT Act, some 3.5 million more veterans in Vermont and around this country will be eligible for VA health care because of their service, whether in Vietnam or the Persian Gulf or wherever. It took us time to recognize the reality that many veterans from Vietnam on up were exposed to a lot of toxins in burn pits, etc. And a lot of them got sick, some of them died. It was long overdue, but we have now opened up VA to 3.5 million and are going to increase benefits for many, many more. Bottom line is, I think we come together as a nation today to appreciate the enormous sacrifice that people like Bob Kuhn and others have made. These are people who have put their lives on the line, and some have never come back. And one of the fierce memories I have, stays with me forever. So a number of years ago, I was in North Africa, and I visited an American cemetery there. There was a lot of fighting in World War II in that cemetery. And it was a huge cemetery, and you look out, and you see grave after grave after grave, and you appreciate, and that was one cemetery in one country, and you appreciate the sacrifices that so many families made. So today is a day that we remember. Today is a day we say thank you. And today is a day that we say we will never forget. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Next, I'd like to introduce somebody who is absolutely no stranger to St. Albans City, Mayor Tim Smith. Tim, would you like to say a few words?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out today to support our veterans on another beautiful fall day. I'm honored to be here with the veterans on stage and in the audience. As mayor today and Memorial Day are two events that I look forward to. Veterans Day and Memorial Day are two events I look forward to do as mayor. Once again, thank you to the American Legion, VFW organizations for all of their work to organize our local Veterans Day and Memorial Day celebrations. Thank you, Mr. Bushy and Mr. Kelly, for your respective bands for being here today. On a side note, I was able to attend concerts at BFA and City School, and I commend you and all the kids for their talents. It's always a pleasure to hear that. I have a couple more thank yous, and specifically for the city and town fire department for hanging the large flag. I can't imagine there's another community in the state that has a vision like this. And lastly, I'd like to thank all the students that are here today, and thank you for the teachers and the students who made this happen. Each year when I share my words, I always dedicate them to a friend or an acquaintance who is a veteran who may have recently passed away. And today I'd like to acknowledge my accounting teacher at BFA, Bob Kajiji, whose funeral is going on at Holy Angels as we speak. And Bob served in the Army Reserve. Also, Bill Walsh recently passed away. Bill was in the National Guard and served as a fireman here in the city for more than 2 decades. For the younger students that are present, I'd like to share that we honor our veterans with 2 national holidays. One is Memorial Day, where we honor those veterans who have passed. And today, Veterans Day, is a day we honor all veterans and thank them for their service. With that said, we should appreciate and thank them every day of the year and not just these 2 days. I look to parents to reinforce what it means to be a veteran and educate your children about the sacrifices, as Senator Sanders had referred to, of all of our veterans and who have made it possible and protect our freedoms. Yesterday, as I was planning for this event, I had a conversation with my children. They were not enthusiastic about coming today. It was quite obvious that I had failed as a parent in educating my kids as to the importance of Veterans Day and Memorial Day. I just assumed they understood. That's not the case. They have not had the experience they have not experienced the sacrifices that many of our military families have faced. I, for one, will pledge to do better in educating them about the importance of today and Memorial Day. This past week, I had the privilege of participating in a financial literacy event at BFA. I was at the community involvement table with former Mayor Liz Gamache. Our presentation was focused on volunteering in an effort to better our communities. First off, we were able to meet with about 50 students from BFA, and we were impressed with all 50. They all were very thoughtful in the discussion, and they had their thoughts as to where they want to move in the future, or what their plans are for the future. I was also very impressed with many students considering to serve in the military as their next step after high school. When you consider the cost of college along with the benefits of the military that the military provides, I think it's a great next step for those who are considering or maybe undecided on a career choice. The second piece that came out of that day was shared by former Mayor Gamache. When we met with the students, we explained to them that the mayor position is a volunteer position. We don't get paid, we don't get a gas card, we don't get vacations. But Liz was quick to point out that we do get satisfaction. We get satisfaction from our service, and I couldn't help but think of all the veterans that are here today and the level of satisfaction that they've had during their career in the military. They've been able to support causes both here and abroad, and I thank you for all those services. Satisfaction is not one of those benefits that we can gauge. It's different for everyone, but I would dare say that our veterans here today have a high level of satisfaction for their time in the military. Also, when I share my comments on Veterans Day and Memorial Day, I always encourage our citizens to display the American flag. Our flag stands for our American values and the freedoms that our veterans have fought for. The flag is not a symbol of a political party or a political candidate. It is the flag of the United States of America, and we should all be proud to fly the flag at our homes. Just remember, the flag is a beacon to those wishing they had the freedoms our country does. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. Next, I'd like to introduce the town representative, Brian Delorier. Brian, would you like to share a few words?
What a beautiful mid-November day. I can't believe this is, it's not snowing, it's not hailing, it's a little windy, but this is perfect. What a wonderful event, too, as we celebrate veterans in our community of St. Albans. Along with our Maple Run schools in the city of St. Albans, the town of St. Albans is proud to join in thanking our many veterans. Thank you to the student leaders of Team USA and Jonathan Giroux for allowing me the honor of participating today. Like many of you, I've known veterans all my life, and they have been an important part of our community. More than that, veterans and their fallen brothers and sisters who have fought for our national freedoms have allowed us to make our own decisions, including even arguing with ourselves as Americans. Because of their willingness to sacrifice over the many years of our nation, we have these freedoms. Remember, freedom is not free, and our veterans have paid a significant price for all of us. To thank a veteran is to show gratitude. One way to thank a veteran is to simply say, thank you, and truly mean it. You all know the difference between when your mom or dad makes you apologize or when you do it on your own. Say thanks and mean it. Another way to thank veterans is to live your life and make decisions now that reflect some of the best characteristics of our veterans. There are many traits that describe veterans, such as loyalty to our nation, sacrifice of their time and sometimes their bodies, respect, and humility. You don't often see veterans that brag or boast about their service. I did want to speak about three other characteristics: volunteerism, duty, and courage. These are some of the most important qualities of the veterans up here on this monument today, and those that sit and stand out amongst us now. If you want to thank and honor a veteran, volunteer. Data shows that veterans, on average, give 95 hours a year as a volunteer in their communities, which is almost 24 hours more than non-veterans. You can show your thanks by volunteering. You could volunteer to help your grandparents or their friends. You could help a younger sports team or school band. You could help your teachers at school. You could help your local fire department. And you could also volunteer to help a veteran in your neighborhood. If you want to thank and honor a veteran, fulfill your duty. Duty is a word that means to complete your obligations or to follow through on what you promise to do. This means when you make a promise to someone or a promise to get something done, you actually do it. Veterans took an oath to fulfill their duty to defend the United States and protect our freedoms, and they followed through. When you make a promise and you follow through, others will trust you. You can show thanks by following through on your job or responsibilities and keeping your word. Get your chores done at the house, please. Complete your work at school and help keep your classroom clean, and make sure that others around you are safe. Most importantly, if you say you're going to do something, make sure it gets done. When you do not keep your word, others will notice. And when you're older, make sure you vote. If you want to honor and thank a veteran, have courage. It's important to know that having courage does not mean that you are not scared. Courage means that you follow through or you take action even when you are scared. It's no secret that veterans have lived a life of courage, whether that was in deciding to join the military, struggling through basic training, leaving a family behind for months or years, and some have even tested their courage in combat when their lives were on the line. You can show courage by trying something new, like joining a club or a dance group, trying out for a new sport, giving a presentation at school, attempting a new instrument, including others who may not be in your friend group, or even standing up to bullies. You can also show immense courage by reaching out for help if you think you or a friend may hurt themselves. Have courage, not regrets. Have courage even when you do not think you do. You could thank a veteran by living some of their best characteristics in your life now. Thank you, veterans, for your sacrifice of years past, for your gifts of today and the future. The town of St. Albans and the entire St. Albans community continues to appreciate and thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those words. We appreciate them. Next, as I introduce the other guests on the podium, would you please stand and be recognized? First, we have our guest speaker, who will be speaking later on in the program, Stephen Gagne. Next, we have Alan Brown, who is both a member of the VFW and now doing the chaplain duties for us today, and the president of the Vietnam Veterans of American Association. Next, we have the commander of the American Legion, Gary Godin. Followed by the representative of the Purple Heart Association, David Hemingway. We have the VFW Auxiliary President, Sheila Spalding. We have the American Legion Auxiliary President, Christine Brown. And finally, we have the Vietnam Veterans of American Color Guard, who honored us by stepping off our parade today with the colors. Thank you all for being here to help us celebrate our Veterans Day. We all appreciate it so much for you sharing your time. As in the past, we have a few daring youths that are willing to share their views, stories, and memories with us about Veterans Day again. And here to introduce these students are our junior MC, George Remillard, who is from Team USA City School.
Hello, my name is George Remillard. I'm an 8th grader at City School and a member of Team USA. Team USA co-hosts Veterans Day every year with the support of our local veteran organizations. I am honored to be part of this year's ceremony and will thank you all who have joined us today. We are fortunate to have some mild weather, but many years we are not so lucky with the cold, brisk winds, rain, or snow at times appearing on Veterans Day. We should be grateful for the freedoms we have in our lives. Many fellow citizens have made the choice to stay in and enjoy the warmth of their homes in the company of their loved ones. These are all luxuries that you veterans did not have when you served, but thanks to your sacrifices during your service, those citizens were free to make that choice today. We will have speakers from our schools, St. Albans City, St. Albans Town, Fairfield, and VFA joining us up here today. For our first student speaker, we have Annabelle Johnson from St. Albans City School, Team USA.
When I found out I was going to be speaking today, I knew that I had to start thinking about this topic. I decided a good place to start is with my own family. Just in the last few weeks, I learned that my grandmother's brother, my great uncle, served overseas. And I started thinking, how many of us standing here today have veterans in our families? How often do we talk to them about their experiences? What can we learn from our veterans if we just ask them? A veteran is someone who served in a branch of the military. Veterans are all around us. My very own social studies teacher, Craig Cattell, is a veteran. It's an honor knowing a veteran and being so close to him. It is also an honor to learn from him and from his experiences, both as a soldier and as a teacher. Veterans Day is all about honoring our veterans and thanking them for their service. I think we can do more than that. We can listen to them about their experiences and what they went through. My grandmother's brother served overseas. He died last year, and I never talked to him about his experiences. He never talked about it to anyone, so I assumed that he didn't want to talk about it. How many of us assume this about our veterans in our lives? I don't know what I could have learned from him, and I feel sad that I missed out on the opportunity to know him in this way. One of the veterans I did have a chance to talk to for the speech said he joined the military to serve his country and fulfill a sense of purpose. According to Micah Navard, joining the military gave him the opportunity to fulfill his sense of purpose through duty and obligation to his country and family. Mr. Navard also said that joining the military gave him a sense of camaraderie with friends and people. It gave him a chance to live out and take advantage of the freedoms we have in this country. He was fulfilled by ambitions and purpose through duty and obligation to his country and to his family. Listening to Mr. Navard, I feel pride in knowing that there are good people out there willing to serve our country, our community, and pass on a sense of satisfaction that will continue to keep us safe and secure for years to come. Veterans are often thought as heroes or as victims. But at the end of the day, veterans are just normal people who found their calling to the military and made a choice to serve. I, for one, am very grateful for those who served like Mr. Navard and all the veterans here today. Speaking to the veterans and hearing their stories can help us understand the impacts of our own experiences. How can we learn from others if we don't listen? Wouldn't the world be a better place if we were to understand each other on a deeper level? Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. For our second speaker, we have Owen Stein from St. Albans Town School.
Today is a historic day because we give thanks to all the people who served in the military protecting our country. The flag that flies in the wind is still standing because of veterans. My name is Owen Stein, and I'd like to speak on what we can learn from veterans. First of all, they show us the value of hard work. If you ask a veteran the meaning of hard work, they know it best. They're always consistently being pushed from day one of boot camp. They're always working hard to do good, even when it's difficult to bring themselves to do so. In the military, there are no days off, and they work hard every day, whether it's rain or shine. They always are willing to give themselves up and work hard in everything they do. And that's one thing of the youth of America can learn from veterans. Second, we can learn dedication. I can imagine it being extremely hard to focus on the battle, knowing their family is back home, but they dedicate everything to the military. If their phone rings, they know what they need to do regardless of their personal life. It could be their son or daughter's birthday at 3 in the morning. They have to tell their family goodbye because they made an oath to protect this country when needed. If that's not dedication, I don't know what is. The last thing we can learn from veterans is appreciating our freedom. The 50 stars in the flag represents all of our free states, and veterans from 1775 to today have fought to guarantee it. They make the sacrifice, they show the dedication, and most of all, they help us keep our freedom. Many people in the world don't have the basic rights our veterans have protected. So to our veterans, I say thank you for your sacrifice and bravery, and for keeping us safe, and we'll never forget you. God bless.
Thank you, Owen. For our third student speaker, we have Manya Tibbetts from Fairfield.
What makes a veteran? someone brave and loyal, someone who cared for our country and protected it, who was persistent against all odds, was ready for anything no matter what, someone who empowered us and had empathy for our nation. What can we learn? We can focus on these values and use them to grow. First, bravery. Everyone wants to be brave, to have the strength to face their fears. Showing bravery is showing courage and not backing down. We often think of this as a big thing, like going to war, but we can be brave in our own lives too. You could stand up to someone or try something new. It might be scary, but it's good to keep going. Another value is persistence. Nothing is easy in the military, but you need to keep going, even when things get hard. When you get frustrated, you never stop, never give up. Many struggle with persistence, but it's a great trait to have. Furthermore, when you think of a veteran, it is someone who is always ready for anything, no matter what. A veteran has to keep their guard up and be prepared. They never know what's coming next, but whatever it is, they're ready for it. What can we learn from this? Life can keep you on your toes, and you need to be up for anything that might come your way. Changes happen, and you need to face them head on without withdrawing. Something else a veteran shows is loyalty, because they served for us, never wavered. When you have someone important in your life, be it a sibling or a friend, giving them your loyalty shows how much you care. Loyalty is the concept that you will always be there to support the people you love, no matter what. Veterans empowered us because they stood up and defended us. We can empower others too. We can raise others up, share some of what power we might have. Empowering those around you does a lot in a community, just like veterans empowered us through defending our freedoms. I believe the most important trait a veteran possesses is empathy. Some veterans were not always shown respect, but they have done so much for us. The amount they cared for our nation shows how much empathy they have. I feel we should always show the same empathy to others, understand what they are going through, and help them through it. On this Veterans Day, we honor those who served us. We can model ourselves after the veterans in our life. These values of bravery, loyalty, persistence, readiness, empowerment, and empathy can be recreated within us. We can demonstrate them to the world around us. This collection of traits should be our takeaway from the veterans, not only today, but always.
Well, that was a great speech if I say so myself. Our final speaker is Laura Bernard from Bellows Free Academy.
Hi. I came from a military family. My brother, my grandfather, my cousins, great uncles, and so on. And this has affected my life a lot. My family and I have had experience of being scared and worried when we have a family member deployed. Growing up, I always looked up to family members that served as being so amazing that they did that, or were still continuing to do that. I grew up seeing my superheroes wearing combat boots and dog tags. It is true that fictional superheroes can fly or have super speed, but they are indeed fictional. These veterans sitting behind me and the military service members are real heroes. Just because veterans may not be wearing the uniform anymore, they will be always heroes to me and should be to everyone else as well. While I mentioned before, growing up I saw anyone who answered the call to serve as being heroes. I did not know in depth how much respect I would end up having for them, and the sacrifices that they made every day just to make sure that the people in America were safe. Now that I am grown, I see just how amazing these vets and military service members really are. These men and women are symbols of bravery. They decided to answer the call and serve to help achieve the safety of America, and we will forever be indebted to them for that. Nelson Mandela once said, "I have learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." The brave man is not who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. These military service members and veterans exemplify this quote by the fearlessness that they show every day and being here and the sacrifices that they have made. Unfortunately, America's past has not been entirely supportive of its veterans. In recent years, our country has evolved and has put into place a number of supporting programs for our military. Some of these programs include veterans service organizations, the Wounded Warriors Project, and much more. Also, in recent years, there has been a ton of research done on PTSD. Our country has put together a number of great programs to help brave heroes process the ugliness of war. Our military personnel deserved our understanding and support when they are coming home from serving our great country. Our veterans are the symbols of many of our core values. For example, with leadership. They have modeled for us what it means to be a real patriot when they led our country through many difficult times and protected us through them. They showed teamwork by being there for each other during times of war or being in fear. They exemplified the real brotherhood in which in each other and keep the commitment to protecting our country and the people inside of it. When I think of service before self and integrity, I think of veterans and military service members. These veterans and military service members show true service before themselves by serving this great country, risking their lives and being away from their families so this country will stay safe and prevail. These brave heroes make so many sacrifices that will never be forgotten, and their brave families are appreciated for the support that they have given them as well. Real bravery is being scared and continuing pushing past that fear for the greater good and safety of the people of America. It is important when we see someone wearing a military uniform, veteran's hat, or something that indicates their service, that we take a moment to say thank you for their service. Showing appreciation to military personnel is the least that we can do for the people that risk their lives to keep our country free. I have come to admire the men and women of our country and military and the values that they uphold. Their sacrifices have inspired me to want to also serve and protect people of this great nation. Because of this, I am in the process of enlisting in the Air Force National Guard to help uphold and protect values and morals that I have come to love. This comes from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your service, brave men and women. You deserve our utmost respect and support for all that you have sacrificed for this great nation. You are the true meaning of being a patriot.
Well, thank you, Laura. We've had some great speeches all around today, but unfortunately, that was the last of our student speakers. So here we have Mrs. Tebow, who will introduce our next Veterans Day speaker.
Well, I think we know now who our next year and maybe a few years after that MC is going to be for the rest of the time. What do you guys think? I also want to thank all the brave students who got up here and shared all their memories and thoughts and perspective on Veterans Day. And I hope our young lady has a wonderful career in the service of her choice. Now I'd like to introduce our special guest speaker for the day, Lieutenant Colonel Gagne. Lieutenant Colonel Gagne enlisted in the United States Army on January 19, 1996 as a flight operations specialist. He served as an enlisted soldier for more than 7 years before graduating from Norwich University in May 2003 with a bachelor's degree in business and being commissioned as a second lieutenant. His key assignments include Tank and Scout Platoon Leader, Operation Iraqi Freedom 3rd, Infantry Reconnaissance Company Executive Officer and Commander, Operation Enduring Freedom the 10th, Operations Officer, 15th Civilian Support Team, Weapons of Mass Destruction, Assistant Professor of Military Science at Norwich University, and Executive Officer and Battalion Commander, U.S. Army Mountain Warfare School. He assumed the duties of Deputy Brigade Commander of the Garrison Support Command on 1 June 2022. Lieutenant Colonel Gagne is a graduate of the Armor Officer Basic Course, the Infantry Officer Advanced Course, the Maneuver Captain's Career Course, Pathfinder School, and Basic and Winter Advanced Mountain Warfare courses, the Commander and General Staff Officers course, and the Advanced Operations course, among others. He earned the Master's degree in Finance from Norwich University in 2017 and is currently a student at the Army War College. His awards and decorations include 2 Bronze Star medals, the Meritorious Service Medal, 7 Army Commendation Medals, the Iraq and Afghan Combination Campaign Medals, the Combat Action Badge, the Aviation Badge, the Pathfinder's Badge, the Mountaineering Badge, and the German Armed Forces Proficiency Badge. Lieutenant Colonel Gagne lives here in St. Albans with his wife Nicole and their 2 children, Madison and Marcus. He is an active duty Vermont National Guards with 26 years of military service. Lieutenant Colonel Gagne.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. A couple groups I'd like to thank. First of all, our veterans in the audience. If you're a veteran, could you please raise your hand so we can all honor you appropriately? Thank you. Thank you so much. I wanted to thank the students who've attended today, especially the students who had the nerve to get up here and speak in front of all these people. It's not always an easy thing to do, and you pulled it off wonderfully, so thank you so much. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my own family, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to serve. And I'm thankful they all can be here. My wife, Nicole, who's somewhere out here, my son, Marcus, and my daughter, Madison, who sang the national anthem. So as George said, we have a beautiful day. It's not hot, it's not cold, although I kind of wish it was a little colder. We could have ended up with Operation Mitten Round 2. I could use a little bit more of that in my life. But like I said, so I'm Lieutenant Colonel Steve Gagne, and as one of my early commanders said when I was a lieutenant, Steve, if you can't be brilliant when you're speaking, be brief. I can't promise you one, but I can promise you certainly the other. And I think my bio is actually longer than the entirety of my remarks. So a little over 100 years ago, on the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, World War I, the war to end all wars, ended. And this prompted our national leaders to designate November 11th as a day that we honor the veterans of that war. And years later, it became the day that we honor all veterans. Because unfortunately, the war to end all wars didn't live up to its name. And American men and women have been called to arms both in defense of the cherished institutions of America, as well as in defense of those who were otherwise defenseless. Fighting men and women who wore the cloth of their country, and unfortunately, many of whom were buried in that cloth and whose caskets were draped in that cloth. But these warriors, and all those who are here with us, knew the potential cost of serving in the armed forces, what may be asked of them, and the toll that may be exacted for peace to once again prevail and the oppressed to be liberated. It is in recognition of this potential cost that I remain in awe of and indebted to our veterans. Knowing full well the cost, they continue to volunteer, they continue to serve, and they continue to wear the cloth of their country, knowing it may very well be the cloth that they wear for eternity. The title of veteran comes with very few tangible benefits, considering the price that most must pay to earn that title. Veterans do not serve for these small perks or for the thanks you offer them when you see them in the community. While that's certainly a wonderful gesture, veterans serve to defend the liberties and the cherished institutions that we enjoy as Americans. So to truly thank a veteran for their service, we should strive to make the most of what this country has to offer and in defense of it. As a nation, we're not perfect, but we are a nation of the people, by the people, and for the people. So to truly honor a veteran, you must take part. Be heard. Strive to make your little corner of America just a bit better than you inherited it. President John F. Kennedy once said when he was speaking about veterans, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. So live by them. And if any young men and women are considering a place in the service of your country, we have a recruiter right there, Sergeant Johnson. He'd be more than willing to speak to you. It's my daily pitch for the Army. Thank you so much for having me. And happy
Thank you very much, sir, for those wonderful words and for being here and taking part. Now I'd like to take a moment to thank a few people who worked behind the scenes to bring this program forward today for us. I'd like to thank two very important members, Mr. Craig Cattell and Mr. John Coffey, who are two teachers from City School, from Team USA, and all their kids who are our cadets over here and who you see floating around here, who have done a lot in providing for us by contacting people, helping us to set up chairs, and be all in all a big help to set the program in motion today. I would also like to take time to thank Mr. Bill Brunson, who provided all the PA system and set it up for us today. Again, Mr. Eric Bushy for the BFA band, and Mr. Kelly for the Citizen School Band for providing music for us today, and for all the teachers who helped the students do their speeches today to make sure that they had the confidence they needed to get up here and share with us their thoughts. I'd also like to honor all the people who took part of just being here today. You have shown so much respect to all veterans, letting them know that you honor and respect what they have given to everyone making our land free. I also want to thank Mr. John Stone for providing his vehicle and his time today to allow our parade grand marshal to be here and ride in comfort. And we must also remember Mrs. Kuhn, who allowed him the strength and confidence to be here. Mrs. Kuhn is with us today also. I hope I haven't forgotten anybody, but if I have, believe me, I do want to thank everyone who could make it here today. Again, now I would like to ask Mr. Brown to give the benediction.
God, please let every veteran of our nation's armed forces feel truly and appropriately honored by the attention and appreciation of their fellow citizens. Let no one feel forgotten or neglected. Let every man and woman, young or old, feel the deep and enduring gratitude of our nation and its inhabitants. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Finally, this concludes our program. I want to thank you all for coming today, and I want you to have a great day for the rest of your day today. Color guard, attention. Dismiss the colors. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Good, how are you?